Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Or morning.
Coach,
Jeez, I guess it's morning.
Coach, this is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated. You are not known as a guy that's going to scream and cuss everybody out. You're a teacher, it's what you do. Are you impressed with your young players, not just rookies, but young players in their attentiveness? Seemed like they were really hanging on every word today.
Yeah, you know what? They've been great now. I think that, as you see with our coaching staff, we've got different personalities now. You know, we've got two guys that have coached for over 40 years, and Richard Smith and Rod Marinelli. We got young staff. So I think, you know, to your point, I think it's important that we all have different personalities because everybody needs somebody and you know, someone where the players can go to and respond to. But as far as picking up the information, been very good. I mean, I give a credit to the players now. They got great attention. They really want to understand it, and they really want to be, you know, great at what they do. And it's our job to kind of look at them and find out their skill set and put them in the best position.
Gus Bradley here with the Review Journal. You bring in Yannick Ngakoue, add him, and make some other changes along the defensive line. I'm interested in, especially on that edge, how that relates to Max Crosby and his role. And he played over 900 snaps last year. Can you see maybe some of those snaps being reduced in order to raise the efficiency?
Right. I would say this, that, you know, our philosophy is you can never have enough rushers. I think that's been going back. I mean, probably a lot of teams believe that. But I think we want to make sure we keep guys fresh. And Max is a very good player, and he's come in great shape now. I like the way he looks, the way he's practicing. He's leaned up, he's fast, and been very impressed with him. So we've got a number of guys like that. You know, we're hoping that, I mean, we can send two lines at people, not just one group, that we can stay fresh with the players. So, you know, those edge guys are very important to us, and, you know, and the inside guys creating that push.
Coach Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review Journal. When you took this job, how close did you think the defense was? How much work did you think there was to do?
Well, I think, you know, it was tough because of some of the things going through last year with COVID. And, you know, I've got a lot of respect for Paul and what he does defensively. We had great conversations. So really look at this team as, all right, here's where they're at, and it's our job to build on what was already taking place. And, you know, so I think there's some good young talent. We're very impressed with them. I think that as far as the overall group, you know, obviously we drafted some players, you know, on the defensive side, so creating more depth and create more competition within. But, you know, like I said, I've been pretty impressed with their skill set and how they pick things up.
Your coach is Ed Graney from the Review Journal. On a side of a ball that has consistently been told it needs to improve, how do you go about the mindset of that group to convince it can be good?
Well, I think, you know, when good things happen, right? I mean, they're a group that we got to, first of all, we got to trust each other. And I think that trust is just understanding where everybody's going to be and that they're on the same page. A lot of explosive plays come through busts on defense, and we got to try to eliminate as many of those busts as possible, and it comes through great communication. So that part of it we're building. You know, when you have success, learning how to handle success, and you know, it's really play after play coming out with it. So it's really a race to maturity with our whole group. You know, we've got some you know, strong personalities on it, which I love. Great spirited guys, and you got some experience with guys like Casey Hayward, Jonathan Hankins. You know, that I think is so important to a young group like this.
Hey, Coach, Case from Las Vegas Sun. Even with, you know, wanting to stay fresh, and like you said, you can never have enough edge rushers. It looks like you guys are going to have a ton of competition up front going into training camp, both interior and with edge rushers. What are some of the things you're looking for to for guys to differentiate themselves in playing bigger shares?
Well, I think, you know, we look at multiple things, that consistency, to do things over and over again. And, you know, we always talk to the players, it's not the call, the players bring the calls to life. And so when we look at the front, you know, how many of them are bringing the call to life more times than not? And, you know, we just got to have that rush up front, and it's so critical to any team. And, I think as we continue to evaluate these guys, the consistency in how they play the run and the pass, a fourth quarter rush, a 2-minute rush is so important, especially what happened from last year, right? And I think that's where the depth, and we've got to have, two groups that we really can count on to keep our guys fresh, so when those situations occur, we take advantage of them.
Hey Gus, this is Vic. I'm sure you watched the film last year. How do you get more out of Corey Littleton than they got last year?
Well, I think Corey, I've been impressed with him, his speed. He's a very skilled linebacker. One of the things his physical nature, that's the things we're looking at right now and challenging him on. But he has it in him. But matchups, I think what's great about Corey is the matchups he allows us to have. He's really a skilled cover guy. What I've seen so far. Now, this has been a lot of walkthrough. When the bullets fly and we go full speed, I think we'll have a better sense of where everybody's at. But thus far, and I think, Vic, the other thing that we've seen on him is he's really a good edge setter. I think he has that ability maybe in base to be more of an outside linebacker for us too. So until we get the pads on and see what he can do, we're trying to still learn some of these guys and their skill set. But I'll be able to tell you more once we get in the training camp.
Hey Coach, Heidi Fang, Las Vegas Review Journal. What's it been like for you adjusting to life in Las Vegas, especially with the temperatures climbing close to 120 during this minicamp?
Right. You know what? My son and I were out this weekend. I said, I don't know. I think I'm starting to get used to it, but I don't know if you ever get used to it. Out in the practice field, you feel a little bit of it, but it's great. I think the way Coach Gruen has set this up, our practices. I mean, we were commenting on that the other day. Here we are in a meeting. We're watching the tape, and it's 9:45 in the morning. That doesn't happen very often. So I think that to best utilize it to keep the guys fresh, to practice early in the morning like we're doing. I think you have to get used to it, and we know come to in training camp it's a way of life for us. But I don't know. I think it's something the players, talking to Casey Hayward, he's adjusted pretty well to it. So I think the way they've structured it, where we're out there for an hour and 10 minutes or so, has been very important for our guys as well.
Yes, you guys have been out on the field for about a month now. Any kind of clarity at that slot cornerback position and the two safety positions?
Yeah, I think right now there's a lot that we put on that plate. So at the nickel spot, you're seeing a lot of guys rotate in there. But, guys like Lawson has really jumped out. I think he's a guy that has picked up very well on it. Amik, we got playing there. He's doing a nice job on the inside. The guy that's probably really jumped out at us is Hobbs, the kid from Illinois. Very impressed with him. I think he's come in with a real good knowledge of the position, so his learning curve is really jumped up. So there's a couple guys right there that we're looking at. The safety position, at free safety, both Gillespie and Trey, both those guys are, until we get the bullets flying, walk through, they're fighting that boredom back there of just playing in our defense where, doing the same thing over and over again. But I like their mindset, some of the things in individual that we're seeing, but, we're holding off judgment on those two guys until we get more in the pads.
Hey Gus, Paul Gutierrez here from ESPN. Dovetailing on the secondary a little bit. As an architect of the Legion of Boom, I don't know if you can see any similarities or not, but how malleable, how fun is it to have such a young secondary that you can kind of craft and create things as you go along?
You know what? It's similar, that youth, and that the questions, and you're putting a system in for the first time and watching guys kind of, you'll do the techniques, but within their own personality. And that's what we're hoping. Right now, we're still in that learning phase. Is it a buzz technique? Is it a hook technique? They're learning that terminology. But I could see definitely as we get into minicamp now, guys are starting to take on personalities with the defense. So to each their own, I'm sure they'll, that's why I say I think we're all looking forward to training camp. We've got, almost 2,000 reps, I think, through these walkthroughs and splitting up groups, and that's invaluable. But there's nothing like practice when you're going full speed. And, we'll see how some of these young guys come along.
Gus, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. Last year, when Malik Collins was brought in, John used the phrase key to the defense. When you bring in guys like Yannick and Casey, how important is it maybe not to put that pressure going into training camp on just one guy, using a phrase like that? You used the word trust earlier among the group, and just making sure, knowing that everybody's important.
Yeah, everybody is. I mean, that's what I said. You know, just think you get two D-line groups that can really rush, and they're all playing. I mean, that is just great for morale, first of all. You know, everybody knows, shoot, we're going to be playing 30, 35 plays. Everybody's getting in there at critical times. I think I've learned that through the years that is so critical, especially to that group up front. So, you know, it's more of a, you know, obviously we know guys, and, you know, we'd like to build it to where, hey, this is a critical time. Who's in the game? Well, whoever's hot. You know, and whoever's fresh. And if we can get to that mentality where it's by numbers, I think that's very, very important. But, you know, you got guys that are very skilled, guys like Yannick, Max Crosby. Those guys have proven that they're very, very good rushers in this league. And so, you know, to keep them fresh in critical times, have them at that, you know, at our services would be great.
Last one for Coach Bradley.
Coach, obviously the other side of the ball has something to do with this, but is there something you can do beyond drills or film to create more turnovers, to get more takeaways than this defense has had? Is there anything to do, or is it just giving them the drills and hoping the game it works?
Well, I think when a defense really plays fast, you know, take for example the first week or so when we put the defense in, guys were allowed to kind of go for punches, you know, try to simulate at least going for the ball. But you didn't see very many opportunities, and you could tell that guys were really thinking about what they have to do, how they're going to do it, and the last thing on their mind was to go for the ball. That has changed a little bit. We're starting to see now guys going after the ball more, and I think it shows us as coaches really a sense that, hey, they're starting to play faster. They're starting to understand what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it, so their mindset is now also about let's go after the ball and not miss any opportunities. So the ability to create more takeaways, it really starts with the mindset to go after the ball. And, you know, I think when you see a team doing it, they're playing pretty fast. And that's our objective, fast, physical, and ball out. That's what we're preaching to our guys. Fast, physical, ball out, over and over, every play, you know, every call that is designed to get the ball out. And, you know, to keep preaching that to them.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, good. Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.